Hi, we are live. This is my very first LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live, and Twitter Live. So I'm really excited, a little bit nervous by it, but I think it's going to be a bit of fun, actually. Some of you might have already know I've been doing quite a lot of podcasting with global leaders and leadership from absolutely all walks of life and everywhere. So today is my very first one on sales strategy. So I've got a guest here to soften the blow a little bit and to make it a little bit more fun. I've got Lynch from Future State. So welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, Jason. It's a pleasure to be your first live, which is also my first live too. So it's our first live together.
It's our first live together, and we'll make sure that the audience make sure it's fun. So if you do have any comments and you want to come in on the discussion, if you have different ideas about what we're saying, that is awesome. So I'm basically a sales training coach. I work really fundamentally on soft skills training on creativity, authentic persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, emotional intelligence, mindset, listening skills, and lots of soft skills like that, and plenty more. So it's going to be fun because Shay works in a slightly different area. Can you explain what you do, Shay?
Yeah, Jason. Well, first and foremost, I'm an engineer, right? I'm a manufacturing engineer by trade. So what I do, what I believe my superpower is that I'm a systems thinker. So I apply systems thinking. I break everything down into its core major steps and build blocks all the way through end to end. And we build measurement in there so we can measure and continually tweak and improve and evolve the process over time. So I'm a systems, I do systems thinking, and I apply that to all major parts of business, and I do an awful lot of work in the sales process side of things. So it's interesting that I do the process side of things, and then you've just said you do all the soft skills, you help people be the best version of them. So whatever step I create is where then you come in and support the people. This, when you're at this step, this is how you be at your best, or every touch point to increase your chances of creating that sort of relationship with the potential client to give it the best chance of finding the win-win and that precious sales.
Yeah, because I think right now, I think the collaboration between the two sort of skill sets is wonderful, and it should be looked at. For me, I've been looking into the soft skills for quite a number of years, and to find the sort of the best ways of presenting this for people. And number one, I think, is the listening skills. It's a tool that everyone should master, and it's one that you should be practicing again and again and again and again, and work on it, and work on listening back and sort of paraphrasing back to people exactly what you've just heard. I think it's the utmost respect to people and for people when you've listened exactly what you've just said. And tell me a little bit more about your process and your processing, because taking a step back, you learned, is it the lean methodology, and you mastered that up to the high skill. What's is it the Jedi Master skill, or lean?
I'm a master black belt, right? But you're absolutely correct. I'm a problem solver. I used to break things as a kid so I could fix them, right? Lean and Six Sigma is all about problem solving. And if you think about sales, Jason, sales is about problem solving. And you talk about active listening. If you're actively listening to your customers' issues and pain points, isn't that the role of a salesperson to solve those customer pain points, those problems, and then create that win-win for your business and your client's business? And when you do that ethically and you have a good process, you do it right, that's going to encourage future sales. So that to me is what you just said is really important when it comes to selling. It's not about a quick win. It's not about getting your commission. It's not about putting it behind you and going on to the next one. It's building trust and empathy, solving those customer problems. So in terms of what I do, if I can give you a bit of a background to how I got into sales, right? I was a Lean Six Sigma consultant at the high end for many, many years, but then I decided to go out my own, right? And the business was renewable energy, and being Lean Six Sigma, I got into energy consulting. So they sort of complement each other. But I had a business partner. He was the sort of, I used to call him the muck and pipes. He would install, project manage all the people, but I would get the sales. And I had
So
never.
Shay, just one moment on that, and by listening in, actually, we've got Alan Hennessy on there saying, "Good to see you guys actually live using LinkedIn Live, and appreciate that, and appreciate your help, Alan." And we got Nuno on there saying, "Looking great and looking forward to that." So it's wonderful to get some good feedback. So thanks for that, guys. So just carry on with exactly what you've just said.
So when I went into that business, I was in charge of business development. I had never, ever done a sales job in my life, right? And all I had was this. I looked online and I saw this 5% rule, Jason, right? So that means you make 100 calls to get 20 meetings to get 5 sales, right? And I said, right, where the hell do I start? I remember sitting down on the first day going, where do I start? So naturally I said, right, I'm going to use my process skills, okay? So I started breaking down, well, what's the first thing I need to do is generate leads, right? And then I was going, where do I generate leads? What do I do? How do I? And like I broke it down into a number of key steps, but I kept getting blocked, right? I find leads, but then when I went to call them, my calling was wrong, right? And then eventually when I mastered that.
Just one moment about calling. We have Rob Cullen on there. Thanks, Rob Cullen on there. So appreciate the follow and the in the chat. So it's always good to give people shouts. So thanks for that.
I could say, Rob, you're looking a bit different too.
Yeah.
You know, but every time, like I created this, like I had 4 major steps in my process, right? Lead generation, opportunity flushing, proposals and orders, right? That's what I started with. When I started getting cold calls or doing cold calls, I wasn't saying the right thing, and I learned the script. So my cold call conversion got very well. So I mastered that. Then I would get meetings, Jason, right? But I wouldn't get any sales, right? And I kept getting blocked. But the bad thing was it was difficult. The good thing is I had to think outside the box. How do I move on to the next step? So literally put the links together. And going back to the point you made about lean, right? My background is lean. Lean is all about adding value. It's not about cutting costs, is what many people think. It's about adding value to the customer from the customer's perspective at the lowest possible cost, right? So you're not compromising quality. So then I started thinking, how could I add value before the sale, right? How do I add value to the customer? So instead of me going into as like an architect or a consultant and saying, like, this is what I can do, I'm the best because of X, Y, and Z, and getting the door shut in my face, I was saying, how about I come in and give you guys a CPD session where I'll tell you as architects what you need to know to design these systems into your buildings, commercial or domestic, right? So then I started getting lots of CPD sessions. But then like, and I didn't realize how good a strategy that was at the time, Jason, because one, I got meetings, right? But second of all, I didn't just have one audience, an audience of 1. I had an audience of 10, right? And not only
would you say that's the way a lot of tech companies are working, it's all to do with collaboration. So you'll get them fully invested into the process and understanding exactly what it is. Would you say that?
No, absolutely. And like once you're demonstrating and giving them, having that, you talk about that 2-way listening, like helping, listening. And for me, it was all about listening, because the more I listen in the beginning, the more I learn what they want. If I want to go to the next presentation, I would give a better presentation, right?
Of course.
And then I had an audience of 10, and not only was I not only just telling them that I was so good, they could see what I could do. So that communication, that engagement earlier on and demonstration proved really well. And then I get proposals, but then I got blocked the proposals, but I kept tweaking them until I get them right. And then eventually I get the order, right? But that was a journey to learn. And so the essence of what I teach companies now in sales is, okay, let's look at that macro process and then break it down into a sub-step. So what are the key sub-steps in lead generation? What are the key sub-steps in opportunity flushing and so forth? And how do you keep improving? What are the metrics that are going to drive improvement so you keep improving? Because going back to that 5% rule, right? That by the time I was in that company, 18 months, my conversions were 5%. My conversions were 78%, 78%, just by not having to generate more leads, but just improving what I did within that process,
Mhm.
and that's phenomenal because once you start, it's not about getting more leads and wasting. Yes, you need leads in the beginning, but how do you get business of existing customers? And how do you
Absolutely.
give yourself the best chance? And this is where, and I would have studied a lot of from the same people you would have
Mhm.
studied from, Jason, and I'm very familiar with the type of work you do. I do that as well. And do you know what I learned? Like, and I did do sales when I started selling, like sales as a process
Yeah.
or a service, right? I said I better do some sales course so I can learn the jargon, right, and be able to talk the lingo and all that,
The acronyms and everything.
acronyms and everything, right? But I was watching people taking all these crazy notes, and like I grew up in sales, by the way. My dad was a jeweler, like so I grew up, I understood sales, but I also understood my dad was a problem solver. He never sold anything to anyone they didn't want. He
Mhm.
always gave them the best price. He never once engaged about how can I help you today. When they walked into the shop, it was like how's your day going? It's miserable.
Absolutely. And that's the best, one of the best approaches that you can actually give is rather than going, how can I help you? Because there's automatic barriers come up.
Yeah,
Is talk about anything else. So about the weather, you talk about other stuff like that and get that engagement early on. So they
yeah,
start talking to you.
yeah. But here's the thing, Jason. What I learned very quickly when I was taking all these notes at courses, and then I stopped taking notes. I'm looking at all people, and we're talking about this, and I'm just going, well, if you're a nice person, you would do this naturally. If you had that other person's, to your point about active listening, if you had that other person's best interest at heart, you're going to do that
Of
naturally.
course.
It's not about getting your commission like you're focused on. Sometimes I find some companies, it's a greedy model because it's low wage, high commission. And it's been
Yeah.
proven, and I don't have a problem with commission, but it's been proven the more you treat salespeople like other people in the business, and yes, commission is
Yep.
important, but it stops that greedy element of it.
I think that's that element of trust from all areas of the business. It's you go out and you trust people and you see things from the customer's eyes, because again, it's never about you, it's always about them. And the more that you can focus in on them, again, it goes with those two flappy things on your ears. The more you start to listen, the more you understand and the more you know about that customer, and the more you can actually start using stories and anecdotes and uh, other things like that to sort of not persuade them, but persuade them in an organic way, so they can see both sides of the story. So I think that's wonderful, and I like your approach as well, because it's quite systematic, but I think there's a nice natural approach, and I think there's a lot of similarities in what we both do, and
Mhm.
it'd be nice to sort of walk side by side in that approach as well, because I think that works in
Yeah, no,
collaboration.
and like one of the things I always emphasize with my clients, it's all about getting good performing people running good performing processes. So you
Absolutely.
want your sales team to be thinking the right way, doing the right things. You have to treat them well. And
Of
like
course.
I go into companies and they be giving out about we paid X amount for this sales guy. He was brilliant at his previous role. He's terrible now, right? And I go, well, did you train them? Do you have a process? Do you train them? And like I have a saying, well, you can't blame them unless you train them. You know,
Mhm.
you have to train them
Absolutely.
your best way of doing sales. You can't just like push them off into the ether and expect results. There needs to be the current best method, and that's a combination of good process, good metrics, good feedback, and really strong touch points along that journey.
No, I absolutely agree. I think once that actually starts to happen, so within teams, what they should be doing is like weekly breakouts with the rest of the team and find out what people had learnt on that week and share best practices, but also share what went wrong and
Mm.
collectively share the ideas. How can we overcome those challenges for the next time? And
Well,
share that
that-
within the group, just share that within the company, so everyone is on the same wavelength and they all see and they're all moving towards as a team rather than as an individual. Oh, I've got to get that target, I've got to get that target. Well, let's work together and get a group target, but also work together and help each other out
work
along
together
the way.
better, right? And just to your point is extremely important. It's a really good point, Jason, because like a part of the system that I would teach is like, when you if every sales rep comes out of a meeting and they didn't get a sales, they can do it when they get a sale too. Why did they get a sale?
Mm-hmm.
Put down the reason why they got this sale, right? If they can clarify it. But also if they didn't get the sale, like put that down, record that. So if every sales rep did that for every meeting of every day of every week of a month, at the end of the month, you have amazing analytics data that you can analyze to say, what were the 3 biggest reasons why we didn't get the sale, right? And next month, how can we problem solve these out? So how can we make it easier for the customer to buy from us as opposed to someone else? And that is a fantastic strategy to complement a really good sales process. So your Amazon do this amazingly. They remove the resistance factors to sales, right? And not only that, they also then they teach you people who bought this also buy that. Like, so if you ever want to watch a sales model, Amazon is the model. And going back to the customer, like Jeff Bezos would always say, customer centricity isn't part of the goal, it is the corporate goal. You know, that's what it's all about. Make it easy to buy, don't sell them wrong, good returns policies, offer other things in case they want to buy something else in relation to what they've just bought. It's all about making it easy and ethical.
Absolutely. And I think that the way I like to look at it, it's you're actually serving the customer in the best way. When we talk about upsell and cross-sell, I always say it's you're up-serving the customer because you are serving them in the right way and you're cross-serving them, which means that you're selling them in a really good way without actually selling. But I'm actually giving you more value back. This could actually help you with your business. This could actually help you in your life or whatever it might be. So there's lots of different ways behind this. Today, look, Shay, I could chat for hours regarding this subject, and I definitely want to have you back on. Maybe we can do this every couple of weeks, and then we get a nice little following. So how can people find out a little bit about you, Shay?
They can go to futurestate.ie. They can find me on LinkedIn as Shay Lynch, you know, and on my website, you'll see exactly what I do, what I'm about. And I've got plenty of like blogs to give you an idea about what systems thinking means to business and how you can apply it to sales, marketing, operations, whatever department is. So they're the best places to get me, Jason. And it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And good to see some familiar faces on the chat.
As always, it's always good. Like you can find me on LinkedIn or over LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter, Jason A. Cooper. You can find me on Facebook, not as much. And my website, I'm getting a new website. Hey, finally. So it's going to have the latest gadgets and things on there. So my old website is jasoncooper.ie, but you'll see something brand spanking new and shiny in the coming month, I hope. Touch wood. So again, have a great day.
Thanks a lot, Jason. See you. Bye.